Hey you, I'm Kevin O'Connor and welcome to The Restart. The Phoenix Suns have started off undefeated in the NBA seeding games down at Disney World. It's crazy. They came in with the lowest possible odds of making the playoffs, and if they beat the Mavericks on Thursday, they might actually get into the play-in tournament. It's a wild, wild story, and no matter what happens though for Phoenix, they're looking like a team that's going to be back in the playoff conversation next season. Despite their success last week on TNT's Inside the NBA, Draymond Green said Devin Booker should get out of Phoenix and that he's not going to be able to win at the level that he needs to with the Suns. Draymond got fined for tampering, but is he right?
Maybe.
Can Booker not win in Phoenix? Or have the Suns shown that they're set up for long-term success? Short answer, Draymond's wrong. For today's main story, let's get into Devin Booker's emerging stardom, his supporting cast, and the bright future of the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker's pirouette, buzzer-beating jump shot to beat the Clippers last week is a culmination of all of the work he's put in ever since he entered the league back in 2015. As a college freshman at Kentucky, he looked nothing like this. He ran off screens, spotted up from three, and played like a guy who couldn't handle the ball. He logged only 5 plays scoring off of an isolation or a pick and roll, and that's what he does more than anything else in today's league. He transformed himself to become a player who's one of the most dynamic scorers in the NBA. Booker has a deep bag of tricks to generate shots with crossovers to put defenders in the spin cycle, and he uses hesitations to generate just enough space to drain nasty leaners. These are the types of tough shots that can translate to playoff success when tough shot making is a requirement. He's hit 46% of his mid-range jumpers, ranking in the 88th percentile of all players according to Cleaning the Glass. Book has deep range from three as well. He's comfortable dribbling off a pick going either to his left or his right, and he can get tricky too. Notice his clean footwork here to step back to a three-pointer before the buzzer. It's actually surprising Booker doesn't shoot more pull-up threes. He attempts 43% of his shots from mid-range, which isn't inherently bad. The mid-range is still important for clutch time, but it is indicative of a potential area of growth for him. Here's every player that's attempted a pull-up three-pointer at least 3 times per game since 2015. Booker's rookie season. You'll find the outliers in attempts like James Harden and Trae Young, and the outliers in three-point percentage like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard. But Booker has never performed highly in either category. He's lost in the cluster of many other players. This season, he's tried 3.3 pull-up three-pointers per game and hit only 33.8% of those. Booker has a reputation for being a sharpshooter, but thus far he has the shot profile of a throwback, more like a Donovan Mitchell or a CJ McCollum. That's okay though. Booker's still only 23 years old, and great scorers also need to get to the rim, which he excels at. Booker can navigate pick and rolls and sliver his way inside. He can attack in an isolation and finish with the right hand against length or his left hand. I love this play right here against Porzingis. Notice how he uses his body to shield KP from blocking his shot. Fundamentals lead to results. Plus, he's increased his free throw rate in every season of his career to become a player who regularly draws fouls. Booker weaponizes his scoring with the pass. Miami collapses to the paint with 3 defenders, but he throws a dart to Javon Carter for a corner 3. He's deceptive too. He'll use his eyes to manipulate defenders and deliver precise, no-look passes to shooters and to cutters. He's gotten tremendously better at looping passes across his body to the left side of the court, as he does right there to Ricky Rubio. Having 360 vision is what separates average passers from good passers, and Booker has shown signs of being a great passer with this perfectly timed kick out to Cam Johnson. At 6'5", he leaps here to get a higher release point on his pass, and he unleashes it just as Johnson's defender slides into the paint to help on a rolling Deandre Ayton. This is high-level stuff. The best passers make scoring easier for their teammates. They create opportunities. Booker does that here in the pick and roll for Ayton, perfectly timing a pocket pass for him to catch and stride on his way for a dunk. Or in this play, he patiently circles the wagons and finds a cutting Kelly Oubre with a slick pass. Booker still needs to improve his passing accuracy with his left hand, as he'll occasionally be wildly off target, but he's shown signs of adding it to his game with this simple pass to an open rolling Ayton. Regardless, where Booker is today at age 23 as a scorer and a playmaker is far, far beyond what the Suns could have hoped for when he was drafted in 2015. Booker's only the third player in league history to average at least 26 points and 6 assists twice before turning 24 years old. LeBron James and Oscar Robertson are the only other guys who have done it so far. That's special company for Booker to be part of, and he has clear, projectable paths to further improvement. In recent years, Booker was ripped. He was criticized and called a ball hog, an empty calories player, a guy who was a good stats, bad team type of guy. I honestly never understood it. Look, I've been wrong plenty about players and teams in the past, but with Booker, it never really made any sense. To me, it discounted the fact that he was a guy who went from playing like Kyle Korver in college to somebody who was doing his best Kobe Bryant impression in the NBA. It discounted the fact that the Suns were a laughingstock with 4 head coaches and 5 seasons. And yet, despite all the changeover, he continually got better. It discounted the fact that Booker was the only guy on that roster who could run the show. This weekend, I asked Booker about his improvement, particularly as a ball handler, and I thought it was interesting that he got into that improvement that he experienced as a young player through trial and error that's led him to being the guy that he is today.
I'd say just being in the situations that I've been in, and ability to be thrown in the fire as a young player and have a chance to develop. I had to work on part of my game, a lot of it actually, and being in those situations and getting the experience on the court as a young player and getting to play through mistakes gave me the ability for my game to reach new heights.
Booker nailed it. That's actually a really good response and very true. He had to go through growing pains in order to blossom as a player. The Suns also had to make changes. Last summer's addition of Ricky Rubio was the #1 key because it's pushed Booker off ball and allowed him to do a lot of the stuff that he did at Kentucky. He's running backdoor cuts to get to the rim. He's coming off screens and handoffs, and it shows in the numbers. Booker is using more off-ball actions in order to score than he did last season, and he's possessing the ball less frequently. When you factor in Rubio, the development of Deandre Ayton, a whole bunch of wings, and the best coach Booker has ever had in Monty Williams, this is what you get. He's leveled up, and the Suns are built for future success. Monty Williams installed a system that emphasizes quick decisions. He likes to call it a 0.5 offense, as in shoot, pass, or drive within 0.5 seconds. Phoenix has the personnel to build on these principles with Booker, Rubio, skilled bigs like Ayton and Aaron Baines, and unselfish wings who can hit threes and cut. Ayton has been a beneficiary of the style, averaging about 19 points and getting easy shots around the rim off cuts and pick and rolls. Here, the Pacers pressure Booker off the pick and he flips the ball to Ayton, who has options. He can kick out the pass to a wide open Cam Johnson for 3, or he can try to score himself. Right here, he goes in for the dunk. With so much spacing, other times the big will receive the pass on the roll and deliver it to the shooter as Baines does right here. The game has been simplified for Phoenix's 3 main wings, Kelly Oubre, Mikal Bridges, and Cam Johnson. They're all under 25 years old and still getting better. Johnson is the best shooter of the bunch, hitting about 40% of his threes and displaying an elite knack for getting himself open in transition and moving off ball in the half court. Oubre has been out since undergoing meniscus surgery in March, but he was having a career best season, hitting 35% of his threes while averaging nearly 19 points. This is a good example of the types of decisive decisions Williams wants, as he drives off the catch and lays it off to Ayton. Bridges has become one of the best cutters in the NBA. He has a spidey sense for timing his cuts to get to the rim. Late in the game against the Heat, he made a spectacular play cutting at the precise moment his defender, Duncan Robinson, shades over towards Booker. As Robinson rotates back, Bridges is gone for the clutch dunk. Last weekend, I asked Monty Williams about the synergy Bridges has with his guards.
He's got good instincts. If you've ever been to a Jay Wright practice, they teach that stuff. You know, I went one time, I never saw so many jump stops and pivots in my life. You know, they teach fundamentals. So I'm sure he learned a ton of that from Coach Wright.
Bridges still needs to improve as a shooter. He's hit only 34% of his catch and shoot threes this season, which is passable, but it's not at a level that it needs to be. Still, even if it never gets better, his #1 value to the Suns is his defense. He has a long 7'2" wingspan that he uses to stop opposing wings in their tracks and on-ball situations. And he also gets in the passing lanes using his Gumby arms to cause deflections and steals. Bridges ranks above the 90th percentile in both steals and deflections. Pass the ball near Bridges and you might not get the ball back. Everyone knew Bridges was going to be a high-end defender when he entered the league 2 years ago. That was not the case for his rookie teammate, Cam Johnson. As a senior at North Carolina, he was still a player that offenses attacked. They looked for him because he couldn't move well laterally. I had Johnson ranked 29th on my big board, and when the Suns drafted him 11th, I ripped him for it. But I was wrong. Johnson has become somebody who can reliably defend the opponent, who is always in a good position. And that is value. I underestimated what Johnson could do with NBA strength and conditioning. I underestimated what he could become 2 years removed from his hip surgery. That's something I asked him about as a reason for his improvement on defense.
That's the main thing that's changed over the past 2 years. And then I just continue to feel better as I get kind of time away from those surgeries. And I just feel more comfortable, better strength, better mobility. We've been putting a lot of work in on that end, and it's really starting to show up, especially on the defensive end. I definitely feel so much more comfortable out there defensively than I have over the past 2 years.
Improvement on defense has been a theme for the Suns this season. Johnson got better, Booker improved thanks to a lighter offensive workload, but nobody made more progress than Deandre Ayton. Ayton makes a major play here, blocking Malcolm Brogdon on the drive, but there's so much more going on. Watch again closely. Cam Johnson can't recover over the screen to Brogdon, which Ayton alertly recognizes. So Ayton signals to Johnson to switch, which eliminates a passing lane. Ayton corrals Brogdon and gets the block. Ayton's extremely mobile. He can quickly flip his hips to alter shots against speedy guards like Ja Morant, and he does a terrific job of defending without fouling. Sorry, Luka, no foul for you.
No foul for you.
For a player who entered the draft with questions about his defense, Ayton has turned himself into a reliable pick and roll and man-to-man defender. His help defense has also improved tremendously. He rotates here and uses the rule of verticality to alter SGA's shot, and then look how hard he sprints up the floor to make himself available for a layup. In college, Ayton's intensity waned, but he plays so hard for the Suns. He's long, mobile, and strong. He's their anchor. Sometimes he still loses focus, like here. He gets caught in no man's land and then doesn't rotate to stop the layup. And he needs to eliminate mistakes like this, where he fails to recognize the lob to Gordon Hayward. Ayton won't always be so lucky Hayward missed. Still, his upward trajectory has been remarkable. In him, the Suns have a blossoming enforcer with versatility and offensive skills that complement Booker with a strong inside game and an emerging three-point jumper. Let's just hope he doesn't miss any more coronavirus tests. With this memorable time in Orlando, expectations moving forward are rising for the Suns, and that means a lot of these flaws will be put under a microscope. Ayton is a good defender, but they need him to be great. He's got to get rid of some of these lapses that still occur. Oubre and Bridges need to be better shooting off the catch from three. Even Booker, as great as he already is, still has a higher level that he can reach. It's hard not to love where the Suns are right now anyway, though. They got a nice young core with good young players, and general manager James Jones has shown the ability to round out the roster with some nice additions. Dario Saric has helped stabilize the bench. Aaron Baines has played an important role for them, even though he hasn't appeared yet in Orlando. You got guys like Javon Carter, who doesn't pass up an opportunity to defend full court. And then Cameron Payne. He looked like a bust for a couple of years, and then had a pretty good year in the G League that's carried over to Phoenix down at Disney World. Let's be real, though. This is all about Devin Booker. He's the type of star that other teams would die to have. He has winning qualities with his knack for the clutch and his unselfishness as a passer. Draymond Green said Devin Booker should leave the Suns, but he signed long-term through 2024. And if the Suns keep getting better, soon they could be a team that's contending for much more than just a playoff spot. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Restart. Please do me a favor and thank the crew for putting the show together. And when you're down in the comments, hit the like button, hit subscribe so you can get all of the Ringers videos. Thank you for watching. Peace out.